Hi everybody, I'm back. Now I've been working on this room. As I had mentioned before, I needed to paint the floor before I could put in my rug. Now this is a primer coat that I put down. Before I did that, though, this is what I did. If you see my other videos, you'll see that this is a really old house built in 1915, and it had a kind of rough floor in it. I'm not sure if it was sandable because I'm not sure whether it was pine or fir. That was kind of up in the air, and it had this this black sticky mastic that was on the floor. When you get it wet, it's all sticky. And it had some pieces of cardboard from when they used to put linoleum on the floor. I think I talk about that a little bit more in one of my early videos. But what a mess. This was a job and a half, and I don't recommend it to anybody. I don't know what it's like removing newer mastic off of the floor, but removing this old mastic was difficult. I'm glad that it didn't cover very much of the floor. Fortunately, they didn't use mastic on the whole floor. I don't know what they did. They may have just made an area, this L-shaped area, it looks like, with the mastic glue, and that's kind of a mystery. I don't know whether they just had a short piece of linoleum or rug or what they were doing. Well, it wasn't a rug because it did have the cardboard backing stuck to it the way the old linoleum did, but I'm not sure why that was, but thank goodness it wasn't on the whole entire floor. Sanding was not an option because I didn't know whether there was asbestos in this floor, and you can't sand asbestos. You have to have special masks and vacuums and everything to do that. And when you have so many things that you need to repair on the house, that can be hard on the budget. So that was not an option for me. I had to do this myself, which means getting it wet and hand scraping it. And there are different things you can do. You can use very warm water and just pour on a little and scrape that area at a time. Or you can get this floor adhesive remover. This is one brand that works on probably any kind of mastic. It definitely, it says it removes tough mastics and construction adhesives, and it's a Max Professional. It worked very well. It's kind of like this thick lotion that goes down, and you can you pour it on and you can brush it on with a paintbrush. You could probably even roll it on if you wanted to, but because I had smaller areas to work with, I used a brush, a wide paintbrush, and then some paper I'm scrunching up here. It said to wait at least an hour. Well, I ended up waiting overnight to make sure that it was going to come off, and it dried a little, so I had to, because my house is really warm and dry in the winter, so I had to re-wet it a little with a paintbrush. It was no big deal. And then what you do is you take a wide or narrow scraper, and I used this piece of cardboard, and then I just came in, so I scraped the floor, and then I wiped it, the black tarry mess, onto a piece of cardboard, and just went a little at a time. In some areas where the cardboard was thicker, I used this very stiff scraper, which was not easy to find. I kept buying scrapers, and they were all very wimpy and wouldn't do anything with that cardboard. But this brand is Wooster. Sounds like rooster, but with a W. And I think I got that on Amazon. It was either Amazon, Home Depot, or Lowe's, but I think it was Amazon. And it worked great. It took everything off right away. That was like the old scraper we used to have in the old days. And then this is the mastic. This is the primer that I used over the mastic. This is Kilz brand. I got it at Walmart. I've used it many times before. This is the number 2, which I use on walls, but this was the number 3 because it was an extra thick primer paint type of solution. And the first floor, the first run over the floor, it seemed to use a lot, but the second and third coating went on really easily. I didn't even need a gallon to do it. So I did this whole floor, and this is 3 coats, and you'll see some beige modeling showing through, and what that is that's the old stain from the mastic showing a little bit, but I don't think it'll bleed through. I'll test a little area with water, but I don't think it's going to bleed through when I put the rug down. You know, if I needed to shampoo a spot, or not shampoo a spot, I mean steam a spot to clean it with a lightweight rug cleaner. But if there's an issue, I can always take the rug out to be cleaned, but it would be nicer to be able to do it in place because it's a big rug. It's 12 by 12. So even to take it out and spot clean it, that would kind of be a lot of effort. And then this is the old heater that I have these heaters, wall heaters, all around my whole house. They're going out one by one, and this one looks like it's ready to go out because it's not heating the way it normally would. It's getting a little cooler. So all the heaters are going to be replaced eventually by flat wall heaters. Right now, temporarily, to get through these cold winters, I'm using the plug-in oil-filled heaters, and they work just fine. But they say that you really shouldn't run them continuously. There's probably something about the thermostat in large areas where it just doesn't read as well, so that's not a good permanent solution. And this is the view out my little windows here. This is the side of my house. There's the garage waiting to be finished. And my neighbor's house, they're really fixing up in this neighborhood. The house behind me has been worked on. They have new windows and a new air conditioner there. And then the house way back by the silos, that one's being completely redone, and that house will be either for rent or for sale. And there's the front of my house a little bit. And I replaced that, or I took out that satellite dish, which looked ugly and I didn't need it anyway. And my neighbor helped me with that. He was kind enough to come over and help me remove that, and then I was able to put a lantern there in its place. And these are really old windows. They're very small for the room. Let's see if I can back up. Let's see, get some perspective. That's the only window in this room. I'm not even sure if that's up to code, because I think I'd have a really hard time getting through that window because of the height of it, and at my age that would not be easy to get through in case of fire. I wouldn't be able to do it without outside assistance, so I'm going to see about having that window replaced to a longer window. We'll see what happens with that. What else? I'm going to put a coat of semi-gloss over this floor. Even though this floor isn't going to be seen much, some of the edge will be seen at the back of the room and also at the front of the room here. There will be some bare space, so I'll use a nice off-white and paint that, and then the rug will come in at that point. Oh, and I also decided that I'm going to paint the walls before I bring in. That's why I haven't done a video of the carpet yet before I bring in that carpet. I decided I'm tired of this red color. I loved this color in the 1990s. I don't think I want it now. It's a little too red. I'm a little tired of red at this point. And it's also dark. I think I'd like to go to a lighter color. So I'm looking at lighter colors and we'll see what I come up with there. Oh, and one of the things that made it possible to do all this work, I also had to remove all the carpet tacking that went around the whole edge of the room. And that wasn't easy. I actually had to do a lot of exercises. I don't know what they call them. They used to call them isometric exercises. Maybe they call it isotonic exercise now, where I had to exercise my back and legs and arms to be able to get down and remove that. I used a long screwdriver with a flat end to help pry that off, and then a pair of pliers to pry that off. And most of it came off without a lot of trouble. There were some pieces that were really difficult to remove just because they'd been there a long time and were down pretty well with nails, but I took them out. Oh, I meant to tell you, before I used the Kilz primer, I did test a spot because there were only 2 brands of primer that said you could go over mastic with, old mastic, you know, that they say you can actually put it on the mastic without removing it, but I did remove as much as I could. But I was worried that it might react, that the Kilz might react with the old mastic once it got wet with the paintbrush or the roller. And so I had to test a spot the size of my hand, and I left it for hours and came back, and it dried really nicely. It didn't get sticky. My biggest fear was that it would just get sticky and just stay there. So imagine doing your whole floor and finding out that you've done that. You don't want to do that. You know, you always want to test a spot and wait, you know, overnight if you have to. And then I came back to also make sure that it wasn't just going to chip off really easily, and it didn't. The only spot that I had was where I had to come back and take out a carpet tack down here. And when I pulled out the carpet tack, it took up a little bit, but that's no problem. I can come back and touch that up. But it clung really well to the old floor. The worst part about this job was the smell of that old mastic when you get it wet. The smell is horrible. If you can imagine tar, skunk, hot tar, skunk, and cow manure all mixed together, that's what you get. It was horrible, and the smell filled the whole house. Even doing it a little bit at a time, the smell was so pungent. I didn't really have trouble breathing, but just having that in my nostrils was so obnoxious. I did not want to do a job like this. I really didn't have a choice. If I wanted a house that I could afford, this was it. And this is what I had before me to tackle. And I'm telling you, I don't recommend it to anybody. I highly recommend getting a professional, even if you have to wait a year, or just don't buy a house that has this much of a problem with the floor. Now, of course, somebody could put a new floor over this, either a hardwood floor or the newer type of laminate floor. But the installation of that was going to be too expensive too, so I thought it's either going to be wall-to-wall carpet or I'll paint the floor and see what I get with the painted floor. I actually could live with just a painted floor if I had to, but I think I like the idea of a rug being under my feet, especially in the winter. And we have a very long winter here that can start around November and go on until the second week of March in some years. So it's nice to have something under your feet. In the living room, I would not want carpet at all. I don't even have to really have a rug in the living room, except maybe in front of the couch. But in the bedroom, it's nice to have carpet, and I don't have to walk in here with shoes. I can keep it as clean as possible. So, all right, then. So the first week of March, I hope to be painting walls, and then I'll come back and show you how that turned out. And oh, by the way, this thing is that everything's sitting on. This is one of those things that you can flip it over and nail on it to do garden work or housework. I really rely on it heavily. It's some brands are called it an easy, I think, and it came fully assembled. You just had to open it up, which was really nice. It's about $40. I'm trying to think of the name. I think I got it from, oh, what's the name of that? There's some catalog online that sells a lot of outdoor stuff. I'll have to look that up and put it in the description when I can find it. But they are really great for seniors. You know, if you have to get down on the floor or near the floor to get something or to work on something for a little while, you flip it over and you kneel on it, and then you use these, what are feet right now, you use those as your hand holders to get up, handrails to get up. And you can also sit on it. There's a weight limit on it, but you can sit on it too if you need to. So that was very helpful to me as a senior trying to work on a project like this. I'm living in an area where people are either working or they're in kind of the same situation that I'm in. They're seniors, and they have to find somebody to help them. I did find a handyman who I hope will be able to help me. He's a senior, not in this town, but he's not too far away, and he has a really good reputation for helping with little jobs. So I will have him help me with some things when I can. And oh, I also need to put in baseboards around the edge. So that would be another thing, which I can actually do myself. I just have to get a ripping saw, a regular wood saw, and order the boards, have them delivered to me, and I can cut and measure and install those myself. To make it easier, I'll probably use my drill to start the holes with, rather than just trying to nail them directly in. And if I need help with that, I'll get help with that. But everything else, the painting, I know I can do myself. If I can do this floor, I can do the walls. Just not all in one day. It took me about a week to do the floor in between the drying and everything, so I think we'll be fine. So, thank you for coming in to see what's up here, and I'll be back as soon as I can with another video. Goodbye for now.